Hello and welcome everyone. We are live for another AFL Fantasy Fanatics pre-lockout chat ahead of round 16. I'm your host Bails and you can find me at BailsDT across all of the socials. And as we do before every pod, if you guys do have a question or play you want to discuss, make sure you do leave it in the live chat wherever you're watching, and we'll get to those when we can. But joining me as always is my fellow co-host in AFL Fantasy Fanatic. It is Tim, mate. How are you?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, good, mate. We're just speaking just off camera. You had your seminar yesterday, mate. How was it? How'd that all go?
Yeah, mate. Look, it was great. So, I mean, we've still done a lot of workshops with our clients, so like full day training and stuff like that. But I haven't done a live workshop to the general public since before COVID. And I used to do a lot of them before then, so it's one of my favourite events. Yeah, I mean, look, last night was awesome. We had a bit of a blowout. We had over 100 people there in the room, and yeah, had a few drinks and something to eat, and I got up there and talked for a couple of hours, and people seemed to really enjoy it, and we had a whole bunch of people become clients as well. I mean, I don't know if there's people in the chat there, but if anyone was there, why don't you let us know if you were there, and also let us know what you think. But yeah, I loved it. It was a great night. All the feedback's been great, and there was, as I was saying to you before as well, like there was definitely a few people there, right? They'd kind of come up to me at the end of the night, chat and ask a few questions about finance and investing and stuff like that. And then right at the end, before they'd leave, they say, "So what are your trades this week?" And so straight away that they're one of the AFL fantasy kind of community. So no, it was a great night.
Yeah, no, beautiful. Love it. You got any other plans for the people listening? Got any other plans for some other seminars or stuff later in the year?
Yeah, I do. So I've got, the only other two are kind of client events. So I've got like a end of financial year kind of client event that's coming up. And then we've got one of our kind of full day trainings at the end of August. So that's a client event as well. But we might open up a few seats there for a few people or something like that. So yeah, stay tuned. But yeah, we're going to do them both at the Camfield as well. It was a great venue. So yeah, we'll see how we go after that.
Beautiful. Love it. Well, we'll move to sort of the fantasy side of things. And we're sort of out of the buys now. So we're out of the buys. We obviously discussed it on Tuesday and obviously on the Sunday review. We're back to best 22, back to 2 trades, which I think for a lot of teams, myself included, that third trade this week would have been really, really handy to get rid of a couple of players and get maybe some better options. But what are your plans, Tim, with just the 2 trades this week and back to best 22? I know you said you had the one rookie on field. So is that you just getting that guy up?
Yeah. Yeah, and well, look, I was, I was kind of throwing up between Salem and Oliver, who to trade out, who to upgrade, kind of thing. That choice has been made for me. So, and look, I must admit, as you know, mate, I've been a lot busier this year, so I haven't had as much time to dedicate to my fantasy. But haven't quite done my trade yet. But I've been kind of rain manning it. I've been doing it in my head. So I'm thinking I might go. And actually, I thought this might be a bit of a chat that we might have. I'm weighing up between like a Powell and a Rivers. And I think because I've got some cash in the bank, I think that'll enable me to bring in Caldwell in the forward, upgrade my last rookie to Caldwell in the forward line. So yeah, that's what I'm kind of considering. And, we might chat about that in a bit more detail either now or soon or something like that.
Yeah, we can go into it now. Yeah, I'd prefer Rivers, I think, out of the two. If I could afford Rivers, I'd be getting Rivers this week. I think that the midfield role is there, as Mitch said on the live beforehand before us. If you guys, and also if you guys don't, I'm sure a lot of you do, but if you guys don't tune into the Ball Boys before us, then make sure you do. Obviously, they have a great show before us and sort of hopefully get a bit of an encore sort of with us after. But yeah, as Mitch is saying,
they're more satirical, more jokers, like people come here for the serious fantasy stuff, afterwards.
Oh, that's
fuck, he's seventh. He's seventh. Yeah. Unbelievable, mate.
He's going very, very well.
I was listening to him before as well. He's going through the big boys, and then what was it? Luke said, "You bloody got all of them in your side, don't you?" And he's like, "Yeah, I do." So. No,
I think the only he doesn't have was like Dunkley or whatever, but he said that's why he's at number 7 and not high. So, no, shout out to Mitch. He's going along very, very nicely. But as you were saying, Rivers has got good junior numbers, and they've toyed sort of with him potentially playing midfield in the past. But when you've had like Oliver and Petrarca and Viney all ahead of him, you're not really going to sort of take any of those guys out. Whereas now the fact that Petrarca's out for the year, Oliver's playing bad and he's going to get tagged, I believe, tonight, and then Viney's sort of in there. I think Rivers has got the opportunity to go in there, and he had the most CBAs last week. He scored a 110, a pretty low scoring fantasy game as well. So if I'm 29K short of that, I would I'm getting Rosie and Will Powell instead because I can't get Rivers. But if I could get Rivers, I'd be going him. So I like that pick, and I've mentioned about Colwell a number of times that I think he's a good pick. Eston's got a good run. I think he's F4 now. His game time has taken an increase in the last few weeks. He did a good job on Yo last week, so they scored a lot of points between them, which was nice. If you had both or Caldwell, so yeah, I like both those in. So I'd be going Rivers if you can get that done.
Sure. What about you?
So so my plans. I've got Oliver and Tom Powell, and in the situation I'm in at 659, obviously taking a hit last week, sort of almost ranked doubled, but I'm still just thereabouts. So I need a few good weeks over the next month or two to sort of close that gap again. But I need to jump off of Oliver, definitely. And I think also need to jump off Tom Powell, because they're the two guys that are giving me they're the two guys on my field that can give me these 50s. And in Oliver's case, a 26. So I need to get rid of those two. And I think Oliver to Rosie's 15K, I think it's a pretty good trade, especially if you need to do something with the other trade, which I'll be doing, which is Will Power out to Tom Power out to Will Power. So power to power for that one. I have thought about Simpkin with Wardlaw out, and that is something that is a little bit tempting for a little bit cheaper, but he does have the Bulldogs, and I believe he goes into, I think it might be Sydney or something next week or the week after. So it's a few tougher games for Simpkin, whereas Will Power's got Collingwood this week, then North Melbourne, and he's only going to be in my meet for in my team for a couple of weeks anyway. It's just like a short-term play, stepping stone, make a little bit of cash hopefully, and then go up. So that's why I'm going Will Power at the moment. But Simpkin has sort of been an option I looked at. I looked at Tom Stewart as well, but with the fact that Guelphy will go to him this week, I'm not going to bring in a player that's going to get tagged even with trading out of Tom Power. So that's what I'm looking at doing. What were your thoughts with Will Power and Jai Simpkin?
I do like the Jai Simpkin trade more now that obviously Wardlaw's out, and we also know that Colin McKerch is not coming back in. I was actually going to ask you whether you'd considered the impact on Tom Powell of George Wardlaw being out, and what sort of how you saw that.
Yeah, well, he might get some CBAs, but I feel like he's a guy that if he was going to be a midfielder, they were going to put him into the midfield even with sort of Wardlaw and that in the team, whereas they've put him at forward, they put him midfield, they put him half back. So that sort of seems to me that they don't really sort of have a position for him, or he's not a midfielder that's better than what they've got, which I still think he used the ball quite well when he was playing well at the start of the year when he had that role, and they took it away from him. So I don't quite get what they're doing with Tom Powell. So I sort of want to get rid of that headache of not knowing, whereas at least Will Power, I know what he's doing. Even Jai Simpkin, you still know what he's going to do. He's going to be in the midfield and sort of split time between there and forward, but might get that bump with Wardlaw out. And then even a Tom Stewart, you sort of know what role he's going to get. So whereas with a guy like Tom Powell, it could shift this week. Like he might play halfback again with McKercher out, but then next week he might be forward or might be on a wing. Like who knows? So I don't know. I don't know what your thoughts about Tom Powell are, but that's probably my thinking behind it.
Yeah, no, look, I tend to agree. Like I said, I just kind of wanted to hear how you were kind of seeing it, and whether we kind of agreed or whether that was more what I was asking for, mate.
Yeah, perfect. But yeah, Jai Simpkins' run is Bulldogs, Gold Coast, Sydney, and Carlton. So that's a pretty tough month for midfielders and even forwards, because all those teams are pretty good. Obviously, Bulldogs, Gold Coast trying to push for top 8, and the other two trying to push for top 4. And in Sydney's case, they're obviously the number 1 team at the moment. So that's my only nervous sort of thing about Simpkin. And I feel like he could drop a stinker. But then again, Will Power could drop a stinker. But I'm going to maybe go down the Will Power path, and hopefully he can score an 80 or whatever. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, I think this is also a pretty tough week, I think, for captains and vice captains. I did my video yesterday, so if you guys did want to check that out, then make sure you did my top 5 and a few other options. Actually, we got a few super chats here, actually, so we'll quickly answer these and then we'll go to the captain's talk. So thank you, Corey, for the super chat here for the first one. So Tim, his question is, trading out Darcy Tucker and Lockie Sullivan for Rory Laird or Joe Danaher and Lockie Evans, and play Dowling and Fraser, or Fraser and Sullivan and play Dowling, or Fraser and Sullivan to Simpkin and Humphreys, and only play down less of my final rookie on field.
Well, as you
I
know,
prefer
Bales, questions where there's 17 different options are always my specialty.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd be going Tucker to Laird and Sullivan down to Evans for me. I feel like
I'm completely on board
better
with that as
upgrade.
well.
Yeah. And quick, what are your thoughts on Rory Laird? I'm hopeful that he keeps his halfback role. I think he fits the team better. I think that the Crows have now got a Rankin and like Saligo and a few guys to run through that midfield now, and they're not as reliant on Laird in there anymore. And I think they need him at halfback. I think they need a bit more experience back there to sort of help those younger guys. So do you think that if he's got this halfback role, would he be a target for you potentially next week if that stayed?
I don't know if he'd be a target, but I mean, look, right now, I mean, we're pretty much, we're starting to target runs. We're starting to target, short-term plays, right? So, well, either that or you're targeting top six. So I wouldn't call him a target, but, he might be a short-term play. I mean, look, you're probably one of the best people to ask about this, Bales. I mean, how do you see his scoring in that role?
Well, if he
keeps the role.
Yeah, if he keeps the right half back, I think he could be a 105 plus guy to finish the year. We saw that for a number of years, Laird was one of the high scoring defenders in the comp, and I think that his role now, especially if he's playing off half back, could even be better than what it used to be because he seems like he'll still have a handful of CBAs, like he might have like 5 to 10 a game. But if you're telling me that Laird's going to play 5 to 10 CBAs and get a few tackles while in the midfield and get some possessions, but then go back to the back line and get plus sixes, that could be a guy that could average. Yeah, he could average over 110 for the run home. So, but again, it's relying on the role. I'm personally wanting to watch one more week. He's got the Giants this week, so it's a tough matchup anyway. So I'd rather wait and watch. If he's got that role, he then goes into Brisbane at the Gabba next week, but then he's then got St Kilda the week after. So that's sort of what I'm looking at. So I'd be more keen to jump on it next week. His break even is, I think, in the 80s though. So if he did go 120, it would be about that 860 mark next week. But I still think that's quite affordable for a lot of us because that's probably where we're shopping in at the moment. So I'm personally looking at Laird this week and having a keen eye on his role. And if he's got that halfback role, I think he could be an option. Even if he's got that midfield role still, I still think he's an option because he's under 900k. It's just if he's playing if it's that mid forward role, then that's when I wouldn't be looking at him. So yeah, definitely, I think he's a guy to be looking at. Couple of super chats here. Sam says, thank you, Sam, as well. Shout out to you for the super chat there. He said, going Charlie Dean and Jordan Sweet to Meniz Wakefield and Jai Caldwell can get Rosie next week. Would you tick that off? Would you get Caldwell this week and wait a week on Rosie?
Yeah, probably, but say it again.
So going Dean down to Meniz Wakefield, so just a 200k rook, and then going Jordan Sweet to Jai Caldwell through DPP, and then get Rosie next week.
Yeah, I think you can wait a week on Rosie.
Yeah, I think Caldwell's got the low break even. He'll be over 800k next week, so I'll be doing that. Tim Ashworth, thank you as well, mate, for the super chat there. He said McAuliffe to Lockie Evans and Oliver to Tom Green. I love him. Tick for me. Yeah. Tom Green. Well, quick question for you. Tom Green or Connor Rosie? Who are you picking this week?
I'm probably leaning Tom Green, but I've got Tom Green on my side though. So yeah, I mean, the thing that worries. Yeah, look, I mean, I know that Butters is probably that kind of number one tag target, but I think that could quickly change. Like it could change in a half of football.
I think it was Jordox was saying that he wouldn't be shocked if Rosie was running right in the first half, then they switched that tag in the middle of the game because St Kilda could do that. So that's something, and I think Tom Green will have I think he's going to go big. He's a bit of a unique captain that if people want to go him as a bit unique, he could be someone that could go big because he looked good last week. I think he's looked back for a couple of weeks, just a tag or sort of low scoring games kept his scores down. But I think this is a game that will be quite high scoring between the Giants and the Crows, and I think Tom Green's going to benefit from that. So I think it's a great trade in. And then the other super chat, he was a Power Prawn star. Hey, mate. Hey, lads, who do you think will be the top 6 defenders by the end of the year? So we'll answer that in a sec, Power Prawn. So I'll let Tim sort of have a little bit of a think about that sort of while we go through a few things. I think I'll put my
top 6 defenders.
Yeah. Or if you had them now.
Well, let's go through yours, mate. Well, no, let's go through yours. You've actually done the thinking, right, about this. So I'll just try and poke holes in yours.
Yeah, so I did my video for Best 22. So again, if anyone wanted to check that out, I put that on the channel earlier in the week on the Wednesday. So did my Best 22 for the rest of the season. I had Nick Dacos as my number 1. I just think he's sort of by far and away the safest option in defence at the moment. Sort of a few guys have changed roles and a few things. I've still got Harry Sheezel at number 2 because even though the ceiling's not there as much in this role, he's still getting hundreds every week and he's just as solid as they come no matter what role he plays. And I sort of do feel North will give him more CBAs, especially Wardlaw being, I think he'll get a bump in CBAs. And I think they've got to give him more CBAs. It's sort of a bit of a waste just leaving him completely forward. Whereas if you give him a bit more CBAs, I think that'll be good. At number 3, I've got, I think I've still got Luke Ryan at number 3. I think that 2 bad scores are sort of people are going, we need to get rid of him. But they got a good run home. I think it's more. I think Mitch and Luke again said this in the before us that they were saying. I think it's got more to do with the team stopping Freo from doing this. Whereas Sydney this week, Sydney aren't going to care about Freo chipping the ball around. Sydney are the best team in the comp, and if Freo chip the ball around, Sydney will just be able to sort of punish them anyway. So, and it is at the SCG, so I don't even know if there's sort of much like they play the SCG Grand Sale. They're not going to change their game style just to do that. I don't expect Luke Ryan to go get 130 this week, by the way, but I think he'd be solid on the run home. But he could be dropped if he has like a 60 this week. At number 4, I've got Nick Martin. I still think, again, like Sheezel, he's a guy that's safe wherever he plays, and I think he's going to still score him a fair bit. But again, his ceiling's lowered if he's not off half back. And then at number 5, I've got Lockie Whitfield. He's just been very solid. Oh, actually, no, hang on. No, sorry, I didn't have Whitfield. No, I had Max Holmes at number 5 and Nick Newman 6, or one of those two were rounding out top 6. And they got the best runs home, I think, of any defender. With Lockie Whitfield and Hayden Young being very stiff to miss out. They were probably, and they could easily slide in if Luke Ryan or someone goes out. Jack Crisp as well is another one I really like.
Jack
so
Crisp
they'd be
what
my
I was
top
going to
6.
say, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so you sort of similar thinking?
Oh, mate, look, I mean, I haven't really done the thinking to rank them, but there's nothing I can dispute there. Like, probably the only person that I would have ranked maybe a little bit higher would have been Jack Crisp.
Jack Crisp, yeah. I guess mine sort of, I'm interested to see this week with Pendles and DeGoey back, if Chris has got this role. I think he will. And if he does, he would probably bump out someone like a Holmes or a Newman into the top 6. I think he's got to, because, and he could go as high as like 4 or even 3. So, yeah, a few sort of good players there to be looking at in defence. So hopefully that answered your question, Power Prawn Star, mate. And Tim Ashworth, final super chat, just said, hi, Bales. I'm going to watch Crows in Melbourne in August. So good stuff, mate. Hopefully Crows get a win. It'd be good to see them win in Melbourne. I know they beat Carlton earlier in the year, but MCG, hopefully they get a win there at some point soon. So, but yeah, let's move quickly to the captains as well. Then we'll answer a heap of your questions as well. So, Tim, what are you looking at with your captains this week? So it's
do you want to revisit? Can we revisit the? Normally we go through the big boys. Do you want to go through the big boys?
Yeah. Well, I'll quickly go through my top 5.
Okay. Sorry. Even better than the big boys. We've got Bales' boys.
I've been doing okay with the captains of late, so hopefully we keep the streak going. I've got number 1 this way. I've got Errol Goulden. I just think that playing free at the SCG, scored a 157 against them last year in this exact same game. Obviously, his form's insane. Plays high time on ground. I don't think anyone's. I know that people have talked about Sharp going with him, but Sharp's not going to tag him, and Goulden just gets it done. So I think that he's my number 1 option. There is part of me does think when a guy's gone 150, 127, 150, is he going to drop a low 100? Just sort of, you don't see many players keep going, pushing out 150s. But I think when the form's there, I think you got to probably back it in. At number 2, I've got Rowan Marshall. Averages over 120 against Port in his career. Remove that injured game he had earlier in the year against Port. He averaged 129 against them in his career. Back at Marvel, no Soldo, so it's just Jordan Sweet and Vicentini this week. I think Marshall's going to monster them. Campbell's been dropped as well, so he's my number 2. Number 3 is Walsh up against Richmond. I think Richmond's good matchup. I think Walsh will go pretty well there, so he's my number 3. Number 4, Lingwood at People First Stadium, so good matchup and back at home. And then number 5, I've got Max Gawn tonight against Brisbane. He's got a good history against McInerney, and when he's gone under a ton, he normally follows it up with a ton at least, and he normally goes big. I think every game this year he's gone under a ton. He's only had one game where he hasn't gone over 120. So I expect a big response from him. But Zorko's number 6, and I like Zorko tonight. And personally, I'd probably almost lean VC Zorko tonight just because of the potential ceiling against the Melbourne team. But we will go, I'll just quickly mention Mitch's big boys as well, because he's been doing it longer than me. So I'm almost like maybe I don't know, he's a prodigy, maybe, who knows. But yeah, so Mitch has got Marshall at number 1, Zorko at 2, Goulden at 3, Walsh 4, Merritt 5, Nick Dacos 6, Flanders 7, Gorn 8, Dunkley 9, and Heaney at 10. So Merritt and Dacos for me, I had a little bit lower because I do expect O'Connor to tag Merritt, and I actually think that Tuke will tag Dacos tomorrow. I think that'll be what happens. So that's what I'm looking at doing. But yeah, so who are you looking at going your captain and vice captain this week, Tim?
Yeah, probably Zorko tonight into Sammy Walsh by the sound of it.
Yep. Yeah, cool. I'm going Errol Goulden VC into Ryan Marshall. I think Marshall could go quite well. I really wish that Marshall was a VC. I feel like he could go big. And if I do take if Goulden goes 115, 120 and I take it, I could see Marshall going 140 plus. So yeah, no, definitely something to look at there. Any sort of other things you want to quickly chat about, Tim, before we answer some questions?
Any loopholing? I mean, people should be loopholing Clayton Oliver tonight if they can, just in case.
Yep, Jordan Clark tomorrow would be another one I'd be looking at doing if you've got a Logan Evans or a Sean Maker as well.
Anyone else?
Because he plays before Zach Reed or any of those guys, so you can loop. A few people have been talking about looping some rookies. So you've got like your Revels and your Tholstrips and that tonight. Tomorrow, if you want to loop a Fraser and then Joe Richards and then Dowling. But the thing with Fraser, Richards, and Dowling, I could see all three being sub. So that's the concerning thing. So hopefully you guys have got your rookies off field. But I did do a poll, and I know a few people have had a lot of bullets lately. So a few people got a rookie or two left on field. So yeah, try and loop a few if you can. And try and look the ones tonight, because at least if you know they're not sub, you don't have that risk of the guys being sub tomorrow. So that's what I'll be doing there. And then just last one as well, you going Shellmaker or Logan Evans for your rookie in this week?
So I'm not bringing any rookies in this week.
Just a general question, just sort of if
sorry, over the I was going to say the cheaper one, but then it's $1,000. I'm not really sure. Look, I mean, I've been looking for Showmaker for a while, right? Logan Evans kind of came out of, obviously
mid-season
draft guy. So look, I'd probably be going Showmaker. I just think he might have better job security, considering that we've been kind of watching for him for a little while. But I mean, that's all I'm going off. I haven't done any deeper research than that, mate.
Yeah. It's a tough one. I think if you want the matchup this week and you need someone this week, I think Evans could be the pick against the Saints. But I think long term, I think Shellmaker is probably going to be in the team longer, just because he's been with the team all year. I think they've wanted to get games in him early. I think he had stuff going off the field early in the year or something, or a suspension or something. I'm not sure, but sort of has played in the VFL, had good numbers, and came in last week into Brisbane at the Gabba and looked quite good. And I think he had kick-ins. I think he's going to have more responsibility going forward, knowing how good of a kick he is. So I think if you want a longer-term play for cash gen, I think probably Shellmaker's the pick. But it's a 50-50 call, and I think both could do quite well. So, but yeah, let's answer a few of these questions coming through. So, and also Tim Asher's got another super chat here. So I'm a Cats fan, always happy to help if you need. Thanks, mate. Appreciate that. And yeah, hopefully your Cats can make the 8 for you this year. But no, appreciate the people that set the super chats through so far. Very much appreciated. So Eric has got this first question. So he said, hey, guys, he's going Oliver to Stephen Cornelio already. So that's an interesting one. Cogs. Who would you move Salem to, Will Powell or Jai Simpkin? I'm Will Powell. I got the exact call, but I think it's safer pro plays probably Simpkin, but I'm Will Powell at the moment.
It also depends a little bit on how long for as well, I guess. Like if it's just this week, I'm kind of leaning a bit towards Simpkin. I think he might get that. With Wardlaw out, he might get more, CBAs and have a chance to, really score big.
And I might change. I might have a bit more of a think about it tonight and go Simpkin. But at the moment, I'm Will Powell. But I think both are solid.
Powell's playing Collingwood, right? Is that right?
Which is a good matchup. Yeah. And then he's got North Melbourne next week under the roof.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, what do you? Because you're looking to bring him in.
Yeah.
What would be a score that you would be? You'd think would be it would make it a successful trade. Not a, didn't blow it out of the water, but it was a tick.
I think 80 plus would be pretty good. I'd be pretty happy with an 80 to a 90. If he went more than that, that'd be great. But if he can go 80, I'd be pretty happy. A 70 would be a pass. I think if he went over 70, because you're still probably going to gain 10 to 20 points or so on Tom Powell. So I think if you can go 70 plus, I'd be decently happy. 80 plus, I'd be very happy with it.
And then think what Simpkin going to score.
We could score about the same, I think.
Yeah.
So maybe you go the cheaper guy if you need the cash for next week, because I think Simpkin's still a little bit cheaper than a Will Power. So yeah, I think both are solid. If you need and it depends who you need, right? They're both different positions. So if you need a forward and you've only got 5 forwards, then Simpkin's the pick. But if you need defending,
you probably got DPP with Sexton and Fisher.
Yeah, and I guess the one thing I would say, Will Powell, is I think it is a 2-week play. I don't think it's longer than that. I think he's got a tough run after those couple of games, and I think he's got Port after those 2. Port is up at Metricon, but then he's got Giants, Brisbane, so he's got 3 tough games after that. So for me, it's a 2-week play, low break even, make some cash, and then go to a defender after that. But if you want a guy probably a bit longer than that, maybe Simpkin's the guy.
Well, let me ask you this, Bails, because I kind of think I've settled on my trades. So I couldn't actually get Caldwell and even a Will Power. I couldn't afford them from a Salem and a Dempsey. But what I've thought about doing is, once again, using DPP, put Sexton back in the defensive line, and then that'll get me from Christian Salem down to Jai Simpkin, and that gives me enough cash to go from Dempsey up to Jai Caldwell, leaving $8,000 left over.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, so I still feel like I'm bringing in a top of line person, which I wouldn't have been doing before.
Yeah. Eric also said here, also, if you had Salem, Oliver, and Bont, would you hold Oliver in case Bont is out tomorrow? So, well, that's probably the other thing we didn't touch on, actually, at the start.
Yeah,
is that
good
the
point.
big talking point for the week is about Bont. I still think a Bont that's hampered, that plays forward, still going to go better than Oliver, to be honest. And you're going to want to hold Bont through the whole year. I'd be still trading Oliver and Salem before Bont. But if Bont's out for Tim, for those people that have got Bont there and maybe sort of trading a Tom Powell or someone else like that. If Bont's out, is he a trade for you?
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah.
I think this time of the year, I think you've got to. And
I mean, I actually think, depending on the Stadia side, just this news is enough to potentially get off him.
Yeah, I agree. Exactly. I think I would if I didn't have Oliver and Powell. But with those two, I think I'd still rather Bont. But I think this is an opportunity where if people don't have enough cash to upgrade a rookie on their field, this is a good opportunity to go Bont down to Rosie, pocket yourself 250K, and then go a rookie up to a Jai Simpkin, a Caldwell if you can get up there, a Rivers, like someone in that stepping stone one to help sort of upgrade that rookie. I think that's I think a good opportunity to be doing some of that. But Bont's a big watch. I still think if he does play, you could hold. But I think if you're at the top and you've got luxury trading and you've got no issues, I think Bont could be a trade if you want to jump off, because I think he's got Port next week as well. He'll probably get tagged by Drew in that game, so you could look at jumping off there. And if he is out, have you got Bont, Tim? No. So yeah, so if I've got Bont, I've got Bont. I'll be trading to Sam Walsh probably, and I'll just be keeping Tom Powell for the week and just getting Rosie for Oliver. That'll be what I'll be doing. So yeah. Clancy Walsh, VC on Gawn. Yeah, don't mind it. He's got the hit ceiling. You could, definitely could go Gawn. He's the number 1 averaging player in the comp, so that's definitely something you could do. Caleb Fife says, love the content, boys. Quick question. Would you go VC Zorko over Goulden? My trades are Oliver to Caldwell and Guesty to a 200K rook. So what are your thoughts about Zorko VC over Goulden?
I don't know, man. I mean, I think you could VC either one of them, right? Like, I think they're both
Zorko into Goulden.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly.
I'd probably do it. If you're keen on Zorko, Caleb, I'd be doing that. I'd be VCing Zorko into Goulden, unless you had someone else after that you were really keen on. But I think that's probably what I'd be doing, to be honest. But no, there's a lot of good options this week for captains and vice captains. Eskimo Brother 77 has asked Salem and Oliver to Simpkin and Caldwell. Leaves me with Showmaker at D6, only rookie on field. So what are your thoughts with Salem and Oliver to Simpkin and Caldwell?
I mean, I like the trades. I mean, I'm just kind of thinking in my head about, I don't like the rookie on field, but
I guess they might have to.
Yeah, there's not much they can do about it. I mean, probably out of the rookie options he's probably not a bad option either.
Yeah. And we have both said as well, Simpkin and Caldwell are pretty decent ins as well. So yep, you've got tick from both of us there. Power Prawns said I've been kissed. Had Lawson Humphreys as a red dot DPP for the whole season. Never expected him to play. So, well, there you go. He's make his debut for Geelong. I think he could be the sub there. But yeah, one thing to note. But yeah, that's pretty cool. If you might have someone playing, that'll be good. Matt's got this one. Hey guys, going Charlie Comben to Schoenmaker and Oliver to Caldwell over Rosie this week. Leaves one rookie field. You play out of Billy Dowling, Bruce Revel, Logan Evans, Ari Schoenmaker, Joel Frazier, and Sam Closey. A lot of rookies there you could play. I think out of those ones, you're going for the week Evans. Would you be going Logan Evans against the Saints out of all those rookies? Would they match up?
So there was Ari, there was Logan, there was Freya. I remember.
You got Freya who could be. You got sub. Billy Dowling could be sub. Closey's not been good of late, and then Revel. Yeah, maybe you might be able to loot Revel tonight. Maybe.
Yeah. But I don't see him as a scorer. I think potentially. Logan. Do you see Logan Evans as a sub risk? I don't know.
I think he's named on the field, which tends to mean that they're not going to be the sub. But obviously, we know that they could be named sub. I don't think he's a sort of sub player. He's a defender.
Bench there at all?
Yep. So their bench. So obviously they've got that Will Lorenz who's making his debut, so he could easily be the sub. Josh Sin, Lockie Jones, Quinton Narkle, like they could all be subs. So I think he'll be fine named on the field. I think it's one of him or Schoenmaker if you're going Matt out of those two, but I'd be going Evans with the matchup. I think. Chaplin is going Luke Ryan down to Trent Rivers, and then he's going Oliver to Dunkley. Or does he go Frazier to Humphrey and Oliver to whoever? I'm assuming that's Humphrey. I'm assuming that's Humphreys who's the rookie, and then Oliver to whoever.
Yeah, second option, rookie down.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Ryan is in Bails' best boys big five or whatever. What was it? Best defenders, right? So look, and he might have a big, he could potentially have a big one this week. So I think he could. I know he's sucked for the last 2 weeks, but you've eaten those horrible.
Ryan's done this in the past, right? Ryan's done this in the past. Exactly. He has games where he doesn't get involved, and then all of a sudden the next game goes 120. So he's the sort of player that could go 120. I think if you're in a good position, you could do it. But I think even saying going a rookie down, then going Olive up to whoever, I think that's the play. I think it's if you don't have a rookie to go down, that's where it could potentially be a play. But yeah, to whoever, you've got plenty of options. You got Walsh I like this week. You've got, if you don't have Goulden, you can part for him. There's plenty of options. So, and then you've got Dunkley as well. So take your pick. I think Chaplin there. I support the sausage says, hey guys, what do you think about Tom Pat out to I don't even know who that is, so that's probably just a bit of a silly question. But Miggy, hey boys, if you could only get one of Rosie and Sheasel, who would you be getting?
I think you just can't pass up the value that Rosie offers. I
agree.
Yeah, I mean, the thinking that I have about Rosie is that, look, obviously got injured, had a horrible run from there for a little while. But, he was in most people's or pretty close to their top 8 midfielders at the beginning of the year. And nothing's really changed apart from that kind of injury run. So, and even more so, previously what we were worried about is that Rosie was going to be the number 1 tag target. But now that's kind of switched to Butters. So now, potentially it could switch back. But at that price, what is he, 712 or something like that? Like, and I think, now what we need to be thinking about. Yeah, I think this is an important point to make. Look, obviously a lot of fantasy coaches out there already know this, but you don't really want to be paying so much attention to break evens now. It's more about what they're priced at, So, and like you said, it's just priced so cheap. You just can't resist. Who cares if, where the break even is and if you can jump on next week, if you can get on this week now at that value, who knows what you're going to be able to do to your side next week.
Yeah, and then you can always jump on Sheasel next week because you're getting the value of Rosie. So, and then also you've got the cash probably in the bank to be able to go to any player. So if you don't want Sheasel and you want someone else, you can bring them in next week. So yeah, I think it gives you more options. I'd agree. Angelo Tavlaridis says Laird in that role would be nuts. I agree. So that's why big watch for me this week. And I think he could go this week, but because he still could score solid as a midfielder. Lek Alia the GOAT says Rivers or Rosie. Who are you going out of those guys? It's got to be Rosie still, doesn't it? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think Rivers is
Rosie
good,
could,
but
Rosie could pop off a 120 at any time. You know, like I don't know
he
that
can
I
average
see
110 for a year.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, I don't quite see Rivers doing that. And look, I mean, the other thing I don't think that we've talked about as well, and don't quote me because, like I said, my research is maybe not necessarily up to scratch as it has been in past years, but wasn't there some talk early in the week about potentially Melbourne trying a few different people out in that role and that Rivers might get moved around? It's not like it's his.
Yeah, exactly. It's one game.
Yeah. So, there could be more changes coming at Melbourne. So, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything about that, but if that was the case, then that's obviously something definitely to be noting. And again, he's got Brisbane at the Gabba this week, not an easy matchup. You can watch him this week. He'll be 7-20-17 next week, and he's got West Coast at the MCG, so you can always...
Just a note, huge fucking disclaimer. I could have completely made that up. Like, I've been focused on work like nothing else this week, right? So I could have dreamed it. So, look, I would check AFL ratings. Pete, he's pretty good when he comes to making sure that everyone's updated about everything that's said at press conferences and stuff like that. So check the AFL ratings website before you, make a decision based on my advice.
Beautifully said, Tim. Cade says Simpkin, Toby Green, or Taylor Adams need a forward under 715k. So I would be definitely crossing off Adams. I'm not looking at Adams. He doesn't have the role. He's injury risk. He's only had 1 ton this year, only a couple of scores over 80 as well. But what are your thoughts on Toby Green? He hasn't had a massive scores of late. I think he had a 50 a few weeks ago, but he's playing high up the ground like a Dylan Moore mould. What are your thoughts about him as a bit of a pod to Jai Simpkin? Toby Green does have the Crows this week, who he has a good history against, and he's got Richmond in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, look, I haven't done any research on him, so I wouldn't know. But what's he priced at? Well, what's his price?
639. So it's within 20 30 odd K of Simpkins. So they're the same. I think I should be going Simpkin with the Wardlaw news.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. Particularly with the Wardlaw news, I mean, and look,
a lot of CBAs.
Simpkins still a player that can average. I mean, what was it last year? He went on a run where he's averaging about 117 or something along those lines. I hope I'm not making that stat up too. But look, I mean, in my mind, he's still got potential to be, to score at the end of those top end, but it's just he hasn't had the role, which I found strange considering he's the captain of that club. But, I mean, obviously you got Clarko in there doing Clarko things, right? So, I would still be going Simpkin.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with that as well. But Toby Green's not a bad alternative that I haven't heard anyone speaking about that could be solid. Totally. James Cooper, Mr. Bails, and Sir Guesty. There you go. So you got this. You've been anointed by.
I've been anointed.
Okay, we'll just scrap that. Just edit that bit out. You've been knighted. I don't know why did I say anointed. Unbelievable. Anyway, is Taylor Adams a genuine option over Simpkin? I personally don't think so. No. He's an option, but I'd be going Simpkin.
Sure. Look, and I mean, we're in luxury trade season, right? And this is where really you can start to make these kind of point of different decisions. I mean, just because we don't think it's a good option, it doesn't completely eliminate them. If you've done the research and you back the work you've done, then go for it. But if it's just a kind of more of a random question, then I'd definitely be leaning towards Simpkin.
Yeah. Power Prawn Star said about your comment about Mitch before. Don't make Mitch's head any bigger; he'll fall over.
Fuck, mate. Well, it doesn't matter. Nothing I say can change Mitch's head. I'm sure of it.
Yeah. Sam Butler. Hey guys, who should I field out of Tholstrup and Revel tonight? Jeez. I'm Revel. He's been safer for a lot longer, I think. Tholstrup had a 70 last week. Then he got a 30 in his other 4 games. So,
who do you reckon the subs are going to be tonight?
I am no Roy.
Have they been named? They've been named by now, haven't they?
Yeah, let me have a look. They'd be named. They would have been named about a minute ago. The subs for tonight are Jasper Fletcher and, Kynan Brown. So that's interesting. Kynan Brown wasn't in the team.
Yeah,
so it's been a late change. So Jake Bowie's out injured and into the sides Kynan Brown. That is a little bit of a flag for Trent Rivers, potentially, with a defender out. Kynan Brown in the sub. someone to note as he might play a bit more back tonight, maybe. But also, Meniz Wakefield is being named at half-back. So he's not the sub. So he's someone that if you need a rookie, 200K, you might as well grab him because he's playing. So, yeah, that's probably what you do there. But, yeah, Sam, in terms of your question, I think I'd be going Revel. I think at the Gabba it's a bit safer. Melbourne give up points. So I think I'll be going Revel. But if you can loop him, that'd be ideal for what you could do. What have we got here? We've got plenty of questions here. We're only go for a few more minutes just because Tim has got to head off and I can answer more questions. Steve saying, any watch long tonight, Bars? Yep, got watch long tonight for the Brisbane Melbourne game. So I can answer people's questions there as well. So if we don't get to your questions, make
actually want to get people to like the video, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, people, make sure you smash a like on the video. Let's try and get 100 on the video, 100 likes. We've got, what have we got? We've got over 100 people watching at the moment. So thank you on YouTube. Thank you very much for that. We've got people on Twitter as well. So make sure you smash the likes up and they get the likes up on there. So 100 would be the goal.
Much appreciated. Yeah, it helps us a lot, guys. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Chaplin's got a super chat here. Thanks, mate. Luke Ryan to Rivers and Dunkley or Taranto? So, yeah, we're saying that before, Chapman. Yeah, if you've got no rookies to go down and make the upgrade on the other end, I could tick it off. But, yeah, if you've got a rookie to go down, I'd rather that. And then Dunkley or Taranto. Tim, I don't know what your thoughts are. I'd be going Dunkley just because I want to see Taranto with Hopper first before jumping on. Yeah.
Same thinking for me.
And they've also got a tough month coming up. They got Carlton, they got Port, they've got they might have another, I think Giants as well. So a few tough matchups the next month. But he's got a good run home, so definitely someone I'm targeting if he looks the goods. PowerPoint, I said, Guesty should hang around for the watch long. Do it, Tim. No, he's got plans tonight, so it'll just be me doing the solo stream tonight. But that's all right. We'll be pushing through anyway. Yeah, we said that one from 4. Angelo Tavlarides, why is Humphrey so popular as a 200K rookie? What is his job security like? Well, with that one, I think you're just going Meniz Wakefield if you're going for a defender rookie now. He's not the sub. He's been named. So you're just going the player that's been named and not the sub, I think. What do we got here? Tony Ford, is Elijah Hollands an option at F6? I haven't really considered him. I've looked at him. I've got him in draft, but I don't know about you, Tim. I've looked at his scores. He's just been getting 70s and a few 90s, not really getting.
Who's that, mate?
Elijah Hollands for Carlton.
Yeah, I haven't really paid much attention.
I don't think I would be going Elijah Hollands, Tony, unfortunately. And then we're going to find
out Charlie Curnow as a bring in for this week.
Sanch was looking at it.
What was the price?
I'm 1K short of doing it. It's 1K more than 2K more than 664. I think he is 1K more.
So he's a lot more than Simpkin.
He would be a play that he would be a guy that you could definitely look at because he's got Richmond this week who have got a few injuries down back. He then goes into GWS with no Sam Taylor. Then he goes into the Bulldogs. So he could be a player. I still like those types of plays back a couple of weeks.
Yeah, sure. It's a bit early, but look, I mean, I guess the reason why I'm bringing him up is because a lot of people are looking at these kind of couple of week plays with like a Trent Rivers, or a Jai Simpkins. So I just think he could be someone in the mix if you're looking at a couple of week play. Leading to Coleman, he could have a couple of belter leagues.
Yeah, exactly. Agreed. We'll go to the final question here because then we'll let Tim go. This is from Liam DMD. So he said, hey, lads, still quite new to fantasy, so still got 4 rookies on field, but I'm going Salem to Humphreys and Oliver to Goulden or Rosie. Thoughts on that? Well, firstly, I'd be going Meniz Wakefield if you can get him over Humphreys. But Oliver to Goulden or Rosie, the fact he's still got a few rookies on field, you'd be going Rosie in this situation.
Yeah, cash. 100% go Rosie so that you can, get some cash in the bank and start upgrading those rooks.
Yeah, exactly. And I know it's not going to be.
Welcome to the game, and thanks for listening.
I know it's not going to be good not owning Goulden, but I think that's what you've got to do. there. So, but yeah, perfect. All righty. Well, we'll cut it short there. But again, if you guys do have more questions, I'll be doing a watch along. I might jump on 5 minutes earlier than what I was planning to do, just to answer some questions if you guys have got those. So put them in the live chat on that. You can go straight there, and the chat's already open, so you can put them in there. And if there's a few there, I'll jump on a few minutes live to answer those. And if you do have another question as well, head over to Ask Me on Q, spelled QU.com/AFL Fantasy Fanatics. You can send through your whole team, trades, drafts, captain questions, any questions you guys have got, send it through. You get personalized audio response through your email, so you get the advice and can give you more in-depth insight than I guess what we could I could give you sort of in the comments or as an individual message. And yeah, small fee for that one, but it does help support the channel, but also gives you an in-depth answer there and go straight to your email. So if anyone wants to hit that up, link is at the very top of the description of the video and in the description of the podcast if you're listening back. I'll be able to answer them overnight as well if people listening back to the pod or the replay of this video. So, Tim, thanks once again for jumping on, mate. I know any final thoughts you want to give the listeners before you let them go?
No, just best of luck now that we're out of these bloody buys, for everyone for this last 9 weeks of the season, and hopefully finish with a reasonable rank.
Yeah, exactly. And you can find him at Tim Guest AU across the socials as well. And you can find me at Bails DT on YouTube. Make sure you guys smash up the likes on the video. As I said, if we can get 100, that'd be fantastic. Make sure you subscribe. Again, shout out to all legends that have subscribed this year. We obviously hit the 2.5K mark. Can we hit 3K before the end of the season? That is the question. So if you guys can subscribe, that'd be fantastic as well. And if you're listening back to the pod, and you can leave us a 5-star rating and review, that'd be very much appreciated. That also really does help support the podcast. That only takes a couple of seconds, so that'd be very much appreciated. So thanks, guys, for tuning in, and good luck for round 16, and we'll catch you on Sunday night for our usual round review at the normal time. So thanks, guys. Good luck. Cheers.
See ya.